All right, so ingredients we need for our beef spinach, our Palak mutton recipe is I have 2 pounds of beef right here. I already marinated it. It's been marinating overnight, and so that's 2 pounds of beef. I have 2 bags of spinach. I know that looks like a lot of spinach, but remember, as soon as we cook this, it's just gonna shrink and you're not even gonna feel like it's 2 bags. I have 4 green onions, 1.5 onion. I have 5 curry pata leaves. I have 2 jalapenos. I like my food spicy. If you guys don't want to go too spicy, then just do like 1 jalapeno. And then 2 tomatoes, 2 Roma tomatoes. And the curry pata leaves are also known as curry leaves. You can find them at any Indian store. For our dry ingredients, we have some cumin powder, turmeric powder, red chili powder, fennel seed powder, some asafoetida for digestion. It's always good in all sorts of food. We've got our fennel seeds right here, and we've got our bay leaves right here. We've got our cinnamon sticks right here, and that's about it. Oh, I think I skipped over the cardamom, so we also have cardamom right here. All right, so now I'm just gonna get a big pot, warm some oil up, and then we'll add our ingredients. All right, so I just got this big pot. I like to use a big pot just so I have a lot of room to work with. And I just put some oil in it, and we're gonna let our oil get warm. To test it, I just put a little bit of the asafoetida in, and if it crackles, it means it's hot. So I just sprinkle some of that in the oil. You don't have to use this at all. Sometimes you don't have it available. I just use it because it is supposed to be really good for digestion. All right, then I'm gonna use 1 teaspoon of our fennel seeds. I'm gonna actually do 1.5 teaspoons of fennel seeds, and I'm gonna let those roast for a little bit. I'm gonna add our bay leaves. I'm adding 4 bay leaves in there. And then I'm adding 4 cardamom seeds in there, and I just kind of crack them open and throw them in. I'm adding 1 full stick. I just break them into little pieces of cinnamon. Right there. And then I'm gonna add my curry leaves in. Please be careful when you add your curry leaves in. As you can see, it's gonna splatter. There you go. So be careful when you add those in. So I'm just gonna let everything roast for a little while, and once my fennel seeds turn brown, I'm gonna go ahead and add my onion in. All right, so my fennel seeds are nice and brown. Everything kind of has some time to season the oil, and now I'm gonna add my onions. Grab my spoon. And I'm just going to fry my onions. I'm going to wait till they get a light brown, and then I'll add my meat and let everything roast with my meat. Alright, so our onions are halfway brown. I'm not going to cook them all the way, like turn them completely brown, because they are going to cook with our meat. So I'm going to go ahead and add the meat to our pan. And I'm going to go ahead and mix it all up together, and then I'm just going to let the meat roast for as long as it takes. Just keep on mixing up your meat, letting it roast with the onions, and we'll go from there. I just mixed up my meat with the onions. Of course, the meat did have some spices added on before, just simple spices. I had some red chili powder. All of my dry spices right here I had already added to my meat just so it could marinate. Yep, so now we're just going to let it roast, and then we'll add our green chilies, green onions. So 3 other ingredients that are going to go in our recipe are ginger paste and garlic paste and coriander leaves. In a lot of Indian dishes, coriander leaves is used to garnish the recipe in the end. We are going to garnish our recipe with coriander leaves, but I'm also going to use it in our dish while cooking, because we're trying to make our meat look green with adding the green onions, the spinach, and the coriander leaves will also give it flavor plus that color. Alright, so as you can see, our meat has been roasting. At this point, I'm gonna go ahead and add some ginger and garlic paste. So we're gonna do about a spoon of garlic paste. That much. Remember, your meat loves ginger and garlic, so go ahead and put as much as you'd like. And then we got a spoon of ginger paste. Now we're just gonna mix all that together. Alright, so now I'm gonna go ahead and add our green chilies. And I'm gonna add our green onion, just right here. Alright, and I'll mix all that together. Alright, so I just tasted some of my meat and it's cooked and it's been roasting for a while. It's nice and tender the way I want it. So now at this point, I'm gonna go ahead and add my spinach. And we have my 2 packets of spinach. See, this is why I use a big pan, because even though the spinach is gonna shrink, I need room for it to shrink. So that just looks so beautiful. Do you guys see that? So I just add all my spinach and then I'm gonna just give it all a spin. Still looking beautiful. So I went ahead and mixed all my spinach in with the meat. I'm just gonna cover it. That way it cooks faster. And then I'll come back and open it up once all the spinach shrinks. And then we'll go ahead and add the rest of our ingredients. All right, so you see what I was saying? 2 bags of spinach and it looks like I only put 1 bag maybe. I mean, it just all melts away, shrinks. So 2 bags might seem like a lot, but it's not. So at this point, I'm gonna go ahead and put the coriander leaves. I did take out a little bit so I can garnish in the end, but go ahead and add that and mix everything together. And the next thing we're gonna add is our spices. All right, so let's go ahead and add our spices. At this point, we're gonna go ahead and add about half a teaspoon of fennel seed powder. We're gonna do half a teaspoon of red chili powder, depending on how spicy you want it. Don't add too much if you don't want it too spicy. About a pinch of turmeric powder, and we'll add 1 teaspoon. Yeah, 1 teaspoon of our cumin seed powder. And I'm not adding too many spices for the reason that my beef already had some spices in it. So of course the curry already has some spices in it. But if you're not marinating your meat beforehand, then go ahead and double up on every spice that I just told you. So all right, so one of the last things we're gonna add are the tomatoes. So we're gonna go ahead and dump these in. So all the juices go in too. Give this a quick stir. And we're just gonna wait for the tomatoes to melt into our curry. Alright, so I'm just going to let our tomatoes melt into the curry. I did add some salt. The salt also helps the tomatoes melt faster, so I'm just going to go ahead and cover this. And I'm going to let it cook. Alright, everything's looking good, steaming up a little bit. But at this point, my tomatoes are melted and I'm ready to go ahead and put it in the serving bowl. Alright, you guys, here is our end product. Our spinach beef is ready. I just went ahead and garnished it with some coriander leaves, but give it a try. It was super easy to make. Meat is so tender and so delicious. It's so good. You can serve it with rice, with rotis, with parantas, bread, whatever you would like. Typically it's always made with goat, lamb. I've seen chicken with spinach, but I've never really seen anyone do beef with spinach, and I was like, I have to give it a try. It turned out absolutely amazing. Please subscribe and like my video. Thank you.